going through your second spring. What is the biggest difference compared to where you were last year to now, and how would you assess how this spring is going for you?
Yeah, I would say just confidence of playbooks, also connections like with teammates, relationships have been built for me over the past year. So there's just a whole new enjoyment to everything going on this spring in my eyes.
How do you feel like it's going for you?
I think it's good. I'm enjoying, like I said, more confident in everything, so I can play free. And it's good. Spring football is always fun to get out there and put the pads on.
Something over here. We just had the chance to talk to Noah Thomas, another guy. You were a guy who transferred here last spring. Have you guys had the chance to talk about what it's like to be a spring transfer and adjusting to that and that change?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once he got here the same time frame I did last year, so I had gone through it once without him. So I felt like there's maybe certain things that someone doesn't think of when they get to school, or maybe just a question that's like something just as simple as hey, where do I go for this meeting? Little things that maybe get overlooked. I felt like, especially with him in my room, I've been able to help him with those things. And we've also talked about everything when it comes to getting to Georgia and how practice is and how difficult it is for us at first. But I feel like I've been able to help him and all the other new guys as well.
What was the sales pitch to bring you to Athens, bring you to Georgia after you had very good success in your freshman year? And what's the difference between Nashville and there?
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of things that went into me transferring here. Georgia's a great historic program as well. I'm from Nashville, where I was at school at. So I was a little close to home. There's a portion about leaving home and growing up just as a person. So that did actually play a role for me as well. And then just any kind of development story you've ever heard, it probably is connected to Georgia one way or another. I know Coach Smart talks about that, and there's proof with all the previous players that have come through here. And then Nashville. I mean, I don't even know if you can compare them. It's a big city and a college town, way different but great in their own ways.
Yeah, so you had the big game against Clemson last year in your first game, and then battled seemed like a number of health problems, whether it be mono or I think Aaron mentioned you had a hand injury. How difficult were some of those health things that you deal with, and how do you think pushing through that adversity sort of helped you become a better player?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's football. You're never going to feel amazing every day you go out there for a game. So I know what I signed up for in the first place, playing football. But it was unfortunate. Maybe got unlucky with certain things, getting sick. It's not something that you wish to happen to anyone, but just part of it. And I was able to play, had a quick turnaround with being sick and hand injury, whatever it was. It's part of the game, So had guys around me, and I dealt with it. Had a great training staff here to try and heal and recover as quick as possible. So.
Yeah, what have been your impressions of the freshman receiver group, and what advice have you given them as a guy who was in your first spring in Georgia this time a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great so far. Tyler, Landon, CJ, and Talon. I loved having them around. Being just a guy who's been here for a year, knowing the playbook now, I felt I've been able to help coach those guys, and like I was saying earlier, just little details of that wide receiver position, learning the offense conceptually. It helps you much more than you would imagine just thinking, I got to learn one position. So they've been great. I've loved getting to see them already develop too, and they're only pushing me to get better also. So it's been a good time.
Yeah, just what have you seen out of Ryan Puglisi this spring in his development?
Yeah, Ryan's done great. He's learned the playbook. He could teach the playbook at this point. He feels good about it, and he's someone I can talk to if I have any questions about, hey, what's the deal here? What are you looking at? So we can be on the same page, just receiver to quarterback, And he's still a young guy. He's got a lot of time ahead of him. So, I mean, he's progressing great in my eyes, and I enjoy playing with him.
Yeah, I want to ask you about one of those freshmen, Landon Roldan. Just what have you seen from him in his first spring?
Yeah, I mean, Landon's been great. He reminds me of myself when I first got to college. A lot, great athlete, a lot of potential, has a high ceiling, and I'm excited to help him grow and become the best version of himself. I think he has good potential. So.
You mentioned those 4 freshmen, I guess it is, and a couple of transfers. Colby's back part of the team more. And what's the competition like at wide receiver to kind of get your spot and snaps and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, like any position, you got new guys in, especially this transfer time frame we're in college sports. So I think it's good for everyone. We play a lot of guys, so that gives you a great opportunity to see. I get to watch Colby every day and see what he does great. I see what Noah does great, Zach, everyone does great at, and I try to replicate those things that I'm short at, So it only makes us better. I mean, we're a unit. There's no bad blood by any means. Like we're a team first room, so we're only making each other better, and I enjoy those guys hanging out with them.
And want to ask you about CJ Wiley too. What sort of stood out to you from what he's shown?
Yeah, I mean he's a big physical guy. I've loved playing with him. He's great at what he does, and he's coming along a lot too. I've enjoyed seeing him learn the playbook, and you just see him out there every day when something clicks, and then he's just taking off from there. So it's been a lot of fun.
2 questions for you. One, what are you at better now? You talk about development. What's better about you now than when you first got here? And second, which defensive back do you go up against the most? And who gives you a bit of a...
In all honesty, I say since I've been here, as a whole, just as a receiver, I felt like I've improved in every facet. But one that maybe sticks out to me is just like the physicality of the receiver position. It's required of you here at Georgia to be able to catch the ball here. You got to block here. So I felt like I've improved a lot in that aspect, and being able to do all sorts of things. Being blocking, it allows you to open up the passing game even more and helps you with releases and whatnot, and then to the question about DBs, I mean, it's a real even matchup because especially if you're moving to all sorts of positions, but I mean, Daniel Harris, Ellis, all the guys, DeMello, they've all been great matchups, and I feel like every time I go up against win or loss, there's something, it's like, oh, well, here's why, and I've learned from it, and the next time I face them, we're only getting better. I can see it every day. So.
Any more? All right, thanks, Lon.
Thanks,
Thank you guys.
What do you do?